You know, we're thankful for the whole pro-life movement and what it's been throughout the years. But we need to get started, and we need to talk a little bit about some of the words that were said last week, and that is Mike Pence also said, Vice President Mike Pence said, "Life is winning again in America." Life is winning again in America. But we can never forget the carnage that is left behind. We have to be thankful to the whole pro-life movement. And in many ways, in many respects, the pro-life movement also reminds us of the injured women that have been there with their painful stories and how they were sold a line of, it's a choice and happiness and move on with your life, as a closing statement before the abortionist received cash for the close of that sale. We must remember that injured women, and we must show our extreme gratitude for their courageous example that they have given us in the pro-life movement. The insight to the darkness and the heavy burdens that they have carried, and the journey in which they have persevered, many of them, to overcome this incredible guilt that has eventually manifested itself in many ways into the selfless act of love. If you know these women, thank them. Today especially, we celebrate them in a special way and allow us to feel their pains in some small way. In a crisis situation, with love and compassion and not guilt and condemnation. It is estimated, if you don't know, 1 in 3 women, all women, 1 in 3 American women have had abortions. It's 42 to 43% of all women between the ages of 14 and 45 years of age have had an abortion. Our first speaker is Cathy Kerr of Silence No More Awareness. And I must tell you, I'm particularly blessed to introduce Cathy here. You see, what you don't know is I've known Cathy for over 25 years. And she taught my 2 oldest children at Rolling Hills Academy with her selfless giving of her time and her patience. And she has taught me a lot. And she has one heck of a story to share with us today. So please help me in joining and welcoming Cathy Kerr to the microphone. Cathy?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon. God has given us a beautiful, beautiful day, and I give Him thanks for that. My name is Cathy Kerr, and I'm the Regional Coordinator for Silent No More Awareness. And I'm here to tell you about how abortion has had a devastating effect on my life. I had always been a good Catholic girl, but I made a very, very bad decision. I found out that I was pregnant when I was 19. My boyfriend had led me to believe that he loved me and wanted to marry me. However, he quickly changed his mind and pressured me into having an abortion. The one thing that sticks in my mind to this day, from that point on, is all the lies that I heard. I also remembered the silence that surrounded the issue of abortion. I received no help or alternatives from the few friends that I told, and at that time, this was 1971, about a year and a half before the Roe versus Wade decision, there were no agencies that provided alternatives for girls like me. Even our family doctor, a Catholic, recommended an abortion clinic in another state where it was legal, because it was not legal in Texas at that time. When I realized that I had no help, no support, I completely shut down and became a machine, doing what everyone said that I should do. They said that I should eliminate the problem. What they don't tell you is that you eliminate a life, and that you add only a lifetime of serious problems. I remember feeling a depressing numbness from that point on. I knew that I was about to do something very wrong, and yet I did not feel that there was any way out. They will tell you that it's all about a woman's choice. At that time, I felt that I had no choice. During the examination the day before with the doctor, I was made to feel very stupid. He was cold and impatient and had no compassion whatsoever. He said that at this stage it was only a blob of tissue. He did not tell me about the side effects or the after effects of abortion, or the risks to my health or my life. The next day at the hospital, I felt that I was part of a cattle call. Everyone kept their heads and their eyes down. Although I had been told that it wouldn't be very painful, that I would only feel a little pressure, it was extremely painful. And I will never forget the loud, horrifying sound of the suction machine taking the life out of my body. I cried desperately in sorrow and pain, and for some perverse reason, the doctor told me that it was a boy, as if I had just delivered a baby. I cannot explain the great sense of loss I felt after I left the hospital. I returned to my parents' home, pretending that I had spent the weekend at the coast with friends, and I learned quickly to hide my feelings and put on a good front. But I was miserable and lonely for many years. The feelings of guilt, remorse, sadness, and depression overcame me after the birth of my third child. It has been through counseling, retreats, and a loving husband that I have been able to face my sin, to confess my sin, and to accept God's mercy and forgiveness. What is so rewarding about being here today is that I can testify after all these years to the fact that there are now so very many resources for young women who desperately need help in a crisis pregnancy. There are millions of people like you who stand on sidewalks all around the country each day to offer help to girls who are fearful and feel that they have no choice. Girls who are like I was. And if there's anybody happening to pass by within the sound of my voice and happens to hear this message, I hope that you will seek the help of some of those people on the sidewalk, or come and talk to me. Millions of people marched at the Rally for Life in Washington, D.C. a couple of days ago. I was part of that group 4 years ago, and I gave my testimony at the steps of the Supreme Court. my voice was finally heard. For those who have had an abortion, don't be afraid or ashamed to reach out for healing. That is why I work for Silent No More Awareness, because we can help others who've been through what we've been through to seek God's mercy and healing and forgiveness. God's just waiting to give His mercy and His love. Throughout the years, the abortion has negatively affected my marriage, my self-worth, my emotional and physical health, my children, and most of all, the life of my first son, whose name is Joseph. And for the sake of Joseph, and for the sake of others like myself, who have been scarred by abortion, I will be silent no more. Thank you.
Thank you, Cathy Kerr. What a testimony.